Yo, what is good guys? Welcome to another GeoGuessr video. And today I'm going to be doing an explanation video of the streak that I got yesterday, a 54 streak. Since I'm pretty proud of it, and I wanted to kind of give a bit more insight into my guesses and sort of the reasoning behind the guesses and like the clues that led up to the guesses. So yeah, so I say we just jump into it here. And so this first round here, and as you may notice off the bat, I kind of do go pretty fast on these first rounds. So I'm I have to just pause pretty quickly here. So this one kind of looks, with this architecture and the vineyards and everything, the vibe kind of just gave me an Austrian feel. Didn't really use too much meta in this one, but you know, with these first rounds, I'm just kind of guessing based off vibes, and it does go pretty well most of the time. So yeah, just hop into the map there, go Austria, and it is actually very close to Hungary, but sort of foothills of the Alps, kind of architecture and vibe just gave me that feel. I did guess in the Alps, but yeah, my guesses aren't really symbolic of where I actually think it is in the country, but just trying to go fast, so I'm just clicking anywhere. This one, the kind of foliage and stuff gave me a pretty Western Hemisphere feel, and I do go in Brazil here if I zoom to the map, but then I look at kind of these dry hills in the background, and kind of more reminds me of Mexico there. This one does look like North America off the bat, and then as you can see, these white houses and this yellow line here would point to Canada, and just round 3, so I do go for it there. It's in Alberta there. This one kind of looks Southeast Asian, and got the Lao flag there, as well as this car, which is exclusive to Lao if you're in that area. So I think I just do go for it. It was a pretty tricky round off the bat, but not really anything too difficult there. This one, so the main thing that gave this one away, I don't even pan on this one, but this sign here is kind of what pointed me to Poland, because it is a Polish sign. It has kind of a thinner red border than Sweden, Iceland, and Finland perhaps do. So just go for it there. Should be in Poland there. That's nice. Next one here, kind of looking suburban sort of feel to this one. And we have these eucalyptus trees in the back, but I didn't really notice them straight away. I kind of just look around. It could be things that go into my mind. I think in US, Canada, and then Australia, New Zealand, of course. But I do think we have a Stobie Pole there. So that's going to be South Australia, excuse me. And I do look at the sun there, and it is in the north, so that's going to point to Australia rather than sort of Canada, US, which is in the northern hemisphere there. So I guess it, and it is in Adelaide there. So the poles could have helped me better, but I so I just totally missed them there, but that is fine. Was Australia there? This one, kind of dry landscape, and I do zoom in here, and we see a bit of Spanish there. So yeah, look around. I see this red, kind of orange-red plate here, and that's going to point to like Ecuador and Chile in South America. So I'm thinking Ecuador, and then I kind of look at the surroundings a bit better, and it totally just fits for Chile more than Ecuador. So go for Chile there. This one with this kind of road here looks more Canadian as opposed to like Finnish and stuff, because this foliage would remind me of those two places the most. Very northern kind of feel to it, and this landscape in the back also. And also this transmitter or whatever on the pole there, I feel like is more common in North America. So never going to be US, I don't think. So I think I just go for Canada there, sort of western, and it is in New Brunswick there. This one, got this line here indicating that it's kind of a stop sign here, and then you have this line, which is pretty much exclusive to like Southern Africa, I would like to say. got some English there. Pretty tall mountains. And then I just kind of look around and I see Afrikaans there. So I'm just going to go for South Africa there. And main thing with South Africa is pretty much the vibe. And then also some clues. I mean, driving left there. African people and stuff like that. This one we have a double guardrail, which I thought at the time to be Ecuador. So I think I just go for it, and pretty early days in the streak, so do go for it there. So kind of developing that meta in my head there. But I do think it is an Ecuadorian meta. I just haven't fully solidified it yet. But this one, I mean, we have this kind of Anatolian looking road as well as the vibe. And this Turkish bollard as well would point to Turkey. So I just go for that. It's pretty close to Syria there. It's actually not Anatolian at all, but this one, forget what I went on this one, but I do see these kind of signs. We have this border here, so it's not going to be Spain with these signs. I look around and I do see some French signs there, I do think, and this giveaway sign as well, and it's pretty close to Spain. Gave me that vibe, but it is France there. This one I do look for quite a while at this round, but it is looking pretty UK here, and I do see just Manchester Technology Centre there, so I just go in for Manchester and put in the guess. It's almost a 5k there. Alright, this one's a bit trickier, but we do have this kind of North American feel to it, and I think I do just go for US here, and reason being is that I just don't think that looks particularly Canadian. I think I go for Canada here. No, California here. And it is there. It's kind of Mediterranean feel to it, and the trees as well. Kind of gave me that vibe. So it's 14 there. But I do get 14 quite a lot of the time, so that's why I didn't overthink that round too much. This one looking South American, and just kind of looking around here. I see this pole and this one in the back as well. I think I just go for Argentina here, and you see the black car there. So now we're going to be Uruguay with the road lines, and Peru just doesn't make sense because you don't see any mountains and stuff. So, but normally Argentina will have some white lines, and I don't think they commonly have double yellows here, but that is just going to be in Argentina there. Alright, fairly close there, so that's why it kind of looks more Brazilian. This one I think is Uruguay. Reason I think that is we have this white kind of signpost here, pretty common up there, and this kind of road number as well. This shield here. When I did my gold on Uruguay, that kind of popped up a lot, so give me that feel. Don't know where that place is, but yeah, I think I just go for it pretty soon here. Yeah, I see the signpost, and yeah, it's not no like Uruguayan poles or anything like that, but and I think I just do go for it pretty soon here. Pretty happy with my guess there. It is a bit further north as I suspected, but yeah, look around here and I see that it's pretty pretty Ukrainian and Russian looking, and I see that red tint on the car that you may have seen, and that is going to be in Ukraine. If you have that red tint, it's right on the border with Belarus there. This one, we have TypeScript here, and we have this kind of pattern here on the pole, as well as these single yellow lines. It's going to be talented with the Thai flags, of course. This one is a bit tricky. It's in Gen 2, and as you can maybe tell, there's some Chinese on the building over here, I think. There's some Chinese, especially on that truck there, but and I think I do zoom into some in a bit. and it's an Oriental something, Mandarin Oriental something on the building back there, which would point to sort of China, Macau, Hong Kong, and I felt like Macau is the best guess here due to it being Gen 2, which is most common over there, and it is just in Macau. This one we have a New Zealand baller here, so it's going to be a pretty easy guess here. Get us up to 20, I believe. Yeah. This one I do take a bit of time on. So it kind of looks North American off the bat here, and I'm kind of zooming into these this graveyard here for a bit, but I do guess in the US there, and it is just in Nebraska. This one gave me kind of an Indonesian feel. We have this plate here, which looks kind of all black, and then I think that's an Indonesian flag, and that was primarily the reason I guessed there. Also, you have this plate on the back of the plate on the back of the bike here, which I do think is more common for Indonesia over sort of Malaysian stuff. And we are driving left, so it's not going to be Philippines or Thailand, for example. Or Thailand does drive left, but I think with the plate, it's not going to be Thailand. And not going to be Cambodia as well. I think they're stuck in Gen 3 as well, so it's not going to be there. So this one I do go pretty fast on, but I think this one is just going to be South Africa here with these road lines, yellow at the edges, and then kind of the triple white in the middle is very common there. Pretty close guess there. This one, see these yellow plates, and we do have some Chinese here, Chinese script, and as well there, and these kind of forested mountains, if you can see, with plus the yellow plates, is going to be in Hong Kong. So do just go for it there, and it is very close. This one, with these signs, I think that's most likely just going to be in Malaysia. I don't think I've ever seen them in Indonesia, but yeah, I think I just do go for it. I think I've heard of those places as well, so I just go for Malaysia. And I go on the peninsula because it wasn't it wasn't Gen 3 coverage, which is most common on Brunei, I believe. This one looking Nordic, and not really any clues that that I'm able to use here, and it just kind of looks Finnish, and that's part of the reason why I did guess there. In a bit I'm going to go into the map. There we go, and I do guess in Finland, and it is pretty northern there. Just game of chances really for that one, but this one we do see Wyoming on the sign here, and it did take an unnecessary amount of time on this round, but once I do see that sign, it becomes pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, I see Wyoming there, and I guess there. There it is, pretty south in the state, so pretty good guess there. This one, same kind of deal with the last Turkish round. These bollards here, I failed to see them immediately, but that's why kind of it takes a bit longer, but I do see Turkish language there on the sign. This one we have Spanish, and I think we have this black car here, yeah, and the plates look Argentinian to me. And this one we have Gen 4, and this Cyrillic here. And if it looks kind of European more so than Russian, of course we don't have the plates to back it up, but Bulgaria does use EU plates, the blue strips. So if you have blue strips and you have Cyrillic and it's Gen 4, it's always going to be in Bulgaria. But I did just go for that there, and didn't really look like Russia to me. So Russia does have Gen 4, but that sign also looked pretty Bulgarian, as well as the landscape. This one, yeah, we have these Australian bottles, it looked like. it looks like. And this car is driving left. See the back of that car there, and this bollard is especially Australian. So I go for Vic here, and ends up just being an NSW there. This one I did take a bit of time on, but in the end it was just a fairly simple round. As you can see, this pole here is a holy pole, so it's immediately looking like Hungary, Poland, and Romania. And in a bit I will just go for Poland here, and it ends up being correct. Part of the reason there is just the landscape looked very Polish and sort of the vibe of it, but I didn't really see any language hints or anything like that. This one was definitely a difficult one. I look around for a bit. We don't have an antenna on this car, I don't believe, or we might do, but I don't think so. So I just look around here for a bit, and it just kind of looks, with this foliage here, just kind of looks like sort of the Amazon, but on like the eastern side of the mountains, if we were, for example, in Colombia, Ecuador, something like that. And this pavement here, I do feel like is pretty Ecuadorian and kind of Amazonian as well. And these houses, a lot of them are on stilts, which made me think of sort of that area in kind of the Amazon forest. I do take a bit of time on this round, so we'll just skip forward a bit here. Okay, just going through the options in my mind there. Looking at sort of the poles and stuff, but nothing really too helpful in that department. Just kind of go a bit. Just got 15 minutes where I did take the guess. And we're just going to see about here, and it is in Ecuador there, just east of the Andes there. Pretty good guess in my opinion. Not too close, but I did get the vibe there. It was just in that small town. So I go to the next round, and I'm delighted to see the red tint back at it again with the Ukraine there. This one, we have this Google car, as you may have seen, and it has these kind of black strips on the bars there, and that's always going to be in Dominican Republic. So it's a pretty easy round there, up to 30 I believe, 35 actually. And that's when we get this round, which is a fairly difficult Southeast Asia. And the sun is to the south, which is pretty helpful. It's firmly to the south, but it could have been Indonesia, kind of southern hemispherian. But yeah, I do go for Philippines here, and this kind of road and the pole remind me more of Philippines, and I was kind of thinking it could be Indonesia because I didn't want to rule it out that the sun was not reliable. Didn't want to rule that possibility out, but in the end I do just go for Philippines here. We have the plate on the back of the bike, which I mentioned earlier, for Indonesia, but obviously you can't have that sometimes in Philippines due to the fact that it was there. So look around a bit more, and yeah, look, and it is just in Philippines there. And I did guess the island right. And this one we just have the Kenya car in Gen 4, so it's going to be an easy one as well. This one we have white lines and the Chilean car, so it looks like the Atacama Desert here, so I just go for it pretty fast there. This one, Arabic, looked like Amman, and we have the black car there, which is exclusive to Jordan if you find yourself in the Arabic world. This one, we have a free round here again. We get the Malaysia round again, the western kind of peninsula of Malaysia, and I end up guessing east again, which is a pretty weird move, but yeah, same round again. I don't know why I didn't just go west here, but yeah. Alright, and so I did play again there, and just need 10 more to beat my record, or to get to 50. And this one we have the Curaçao car, which is the kind of black back of the car and the bars. It's always going to be in Curaçao. And the names as well don't feel like anything, so yeah, it kind of feels just like Curaçao there. So next round here we have low cam, so it's going to be an easy Japan. I do kind of just want to make sure that it is Japan, but always going to be Japan there. This one, Cose Preziose and Via, so it's going to be Italy if you're not in Gen 2. So it's never going to be San Marino. And if you're not in low cam, then you know you're not going to be in southern Switzerland there. So this one is a pretty hard round, pretty tough here. We're in Patagonia. We have Spanish, and I kind of look around, and as you can see here, there's a tiny bit of a black car showing here, which would fit for Argentina rather than Chile. But I can't really be sure because it's such a slight opening of the blur there that I'm not really sure of it. But I do kind of look around, try to see if I can find this place. Look mainly in Argentina. I don't find it. But it is in Argentina there, just in Tierra del Fuego there, and there is Las Verentes. Alright, this one looks like Tracker, but we have Cyrillic here, and we have this river to help us out. Do take a minute to kind of think gather my thoughts for this one. Weird kind of letter here. Don't expect that for Russian. But I do eventually go into the map here, just kind of looking at this language, and then I think of where this river might be, and I just go into the map here, zoom on Belarus, because they have Tracker in Minsk, and it would be likely that the map creator put the Belarus Tracker in here, and as you can see, there's the same river here, so it's going to be in Minsk here. So I just put my guess in there and get that 5k, which is always nice. Alright, next one here. Got the black back of the car, and kind of these hills looks pretty Korean, as well as the Korean on the sign there. This one's not that difficult, but I did take a bit of time on it for some reason. But yeah, I do zoom in immediately to the pole, and it looks square, I think, but there's a pole to the left right there, which looks octagonal, but I do think that one could have been octagonal as well. So that's mainly what led me to go for Mexico here. And I think it said Oaxaca on one of the cars, but looks like it could have maybe been there. But yeah, on that white car there to the right of us, and the short plates as well, is pretty good for Mexico. And I think I do just go for it in a bit. As I said, I do take an unnecessary amount of time on this round. Honestly, it wasn't that difficult of a round, but I do get to Mexico there, and it is just a bit further north in Durango. This one we have Argentinian poles with this kind of right, left, right kind of fashion. It's kind of this needle that sticks out. It's a bit thicker if it the closer it gets to the pole, and then it kind of gets thinner. If you know what I mean, it's like the tip of an arrow or something like that. We have the black back of the car there, so it's going to be in Argentina. And kind of overthinking this round. The further we get into the realm of kind of 50 and onwards. So yeah, just kind of look around here, but it's never going to be Uruguay with those poles. Those have kind of a trident shape to them, the top of the pole. So yeah, I think I just do go for Argentina here, and we don't have the white signpost there, as you can see. So I think I did just plonk it. There we go, just there in the peninsula there. This one looked like Turkey off the bat, and we do have some Turkish language on that sign, Guliazi. So just gonna be right there, and then kind of taking my time here, and gonna be the 50th round, and it's gonna be a pretty easy Brazil. We have this word here, Portuguese. I don't know how you say it like that, but yeah, we have this kind of very Portuguese looking language, as well as the black back of the sign here, which is most likely just going to be in Brazil if you're in South America. And this kind of red soil, so it's kind of a red tint to the road. That is very common of Brazil. And don't really need to look at the polls there, because we do just get that 50 streak pretty easily there. But I do move on eventually, and I was just there in Santa Catarina. Alright, next round here we have the UK, and that is because we do have this the yellow back of the plate, the yellow plate, and the white plate in the front, and .co.uk on the sign. This one's a pretty tough one. Yeah, this kind of Czechoslovak language, as well as some vineyards. And I think I just do go for Czechia here. And the reason being is literally only this letter here, which I do think is a Czech exclusive letter, as opposed to Slovak, of course. So got JC there. Kind of just looking for the place, but ultimately don't find it. So I just zoom out, and I'm thinking more Czechia for this one. So take one more look around, and it is just in Czechia there. And as I suspected, it is a pretty small place there. So this one we have Gen 2, and kind of these houses remind me more of Denmark here, but as I pan around, that sign in the back, the blue sign, kind of reminded me more of Denmark, because I do think it said, or I do think at the moment it said V with a J at the end, so I was thinking Denmark here. But these bins here, it says Bio Abfall, which is, Abfall is like if you put an AB at the front of something in German, then that will make it into something. But yeah, so this is definitely just German language there, and the Gen 2 is very makes a lot of sense for that. So I'm thinking Denmark for quite a while, but then I ultimately switch over to Germany there, and it is just in Leipzig. This one, very glad to see this round, but it will be the last round I get right in this streak. But we do have Gen 2 and then the kind of South African signs. So if you're in South Africa or Southern Africa, and as other road numbers, the R something is always going to be in South Africa. Yeah, if you're in Gen 2 or Gen 4 in Southern Africa, it's always going to be South Africa, the country, not Botswana, Lesotho, or Eswatini. And then we have the round here that I ultimately got wrong, and kind of the reason why I went Cambodia on this one was just kind of the vibe of it, and this poll as well. We had this antenna here, which off the bat I did think was more America's, but I kind of thought of Asia at the start, so I kind of just stayed with that, but I did think of the Americas at first. But it just didn't remind me of anywhere in the Americas, to be honest. And the sun wasn't too helpful. I mean, it was in the south, so it was going to be northern hemisphere, which did rule out most of South America and Indonesia and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just going to be in Mexico here. And I saw this guy, and I thought he had kind of this more Asian looking hat, but I think it was just a sombrero or like a cowboy's hat. So yeah, I do go for Cambodia here, and I'm just kind of looking around, and I just decided to go for it. And I did kind of tell myself that it made sense for the antenna to be there, but in hindsight I don't think it could have been there. And yeah, this is in Mexico there, in Sonora. These kind of flat lands here. And I thought the kind of water here, small river on like the side of the road, made more sense for Americas, but yeah, or for this part of Mexico, I guess. But yeah, so that's kind of my reasoning behind some of those rounds, and so that's kind of the reasoning behind some of those rounds and why I went where I went. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This is it's kind of good to kind of just get an insight into some of those guesses there. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.